So we've honored our need to stop. We've honored our need to retreat. And now in crash the holidays, a time filled with shoulds, obligations, and for many of us, a whole lot of ghosts. What do you do when the world's expectations just don't match your reality as a survivor? I'm Sable Mensa, and welcome to week 3 of the Holiday Self-Honoring Challenge, proudly supported by Gifted by FreeFrom and the Network Lorette. I want to talk about ghosts because for me, during holiday seasons, a lot of ghosts show up for me. I think about ghosts around childhood baggage and thinking about how the holidays changed during different aspects of my childhood and how it celebrating looked different. And I just internalized all of these really hard things, which changed my relationship to the holidays. The holidays became something that I don't know, that just filled me with sort of uh unrequited like a lo longing and for like a deep desire for belonging that I didn't experience. It also the holidays for me as a child eventually just made me feel sad, and oddly enough, coping is, kids do fascinating things to survive, and one of the ways that I survived what was experiencing was by, you know, I got mad at myself for having hope and expectations because that felt easier than dealing with the emotional fallout that comes with feeling disappointed. And so needless to say, the holidays had I got OG ghosts for the holidays. And then within the context of abuse, we had, tried to create new traditions in for ourselves within the holidays. And, we created new traditions, but it was always, it's just hard to for something to resonate and for something to land and have joy when it's always tinged with that threat of violence where it's which I didn't recognize or experience it like that at the time. Probably if I had to go back in time and ask myself, I probably would have shared like the feeling of eggshells. But again, the holidays within the context of abuse, it also kind of mirrored all of what I shared that holidays were for me as a child, in the sense that in my mind, there was like a hope and an expectation, like maybe if I could just figure this out, if I could just get this right, then things could be good. And, surprise, no matter how much I tried, or there's the plot twist is there really is nothing that I could have done to change the choices that my ex-wife made. But at the time, I didn't understand that. At the time, I internalized all of this blame, and I just didn't know that. And so, what that means for me is like Ghosts in the Holidays is filled with all of this mess. Okay. And it's filled with all of this mess, which is so different from what the rest of the world is experiencing, what you see on TV. Everyone is smiling and happy and so excited to be together and with family. And like, that's just not where my spirit is, has been as it relates to the holidays because of this history and this pre-existing relationship that I have with it. And so it's interesting, right? So I'm in this place, but then the holidays, I think culturally and on a societal level, there's sort of this like expectation or demand that you perform that joy and that excitement and that levity. And honestly, that expectation feels rude to me because it's just like in my spirit, not where I am. And I think that is actually how I cope with the shoulds of this time of year when I'm just trying to get through my day, my week, my this season is I just I cope with the shoulds by just naming that where I am is not aligned with the cultural moment of celebration and ritual. Period. That's not where I'm at, and I'm gonna let myself be there. Um, because at the end of the day, that's all that I can do. I am done with the times of, you know, trying to discharge or dispose or shove down feelings and a place of where I am because it's inconvenient or it doesn't matches someone else's timeline or expectations. I'm done with that shit. And so coping with the pressure of shoulds, step one for me is just, where I'm at is not where y'all are at. And just letting that be okay and not trying to change that for myself, not trying to make myself be in another place, not trying to and also, it's also really uncomfortable too because there is so much pressure and like that's so people have attached so much to not only what the holidays are for them, but this is also a time of year where they're also, I feel like culturally it's okay to have expectations of other people and how they should participate in the holidays so that you can feel good. And that's also kind of sticky to navigate as well, because what's going on with you in your life, that is none of my business. And you cannot dictate what is going on with me in my life. And I think, that's a type of boundary that I think culturally we're kind of coming around to, but it kind of crumbles under pressure, under the pressure of the holidays, right? It's like, yeah, you can do that January through November. But December comes around, some people really come in hot with that energy. And so for me, the honoring my reality, and doing looks like doing the hard self-honoring thing when everyone else is celebrating. And for me, that looks like treating the holidays as having a regular ass day. Like that is what honoring myself looks like during this time period, is not letting external calendars disrupt my current flow. And it's not just I'm not doing it because, or I'm not showing up, I'm not performing a feeling or participating in a ritual just because that's the pressure of the moment. But it's like also this current flow state that I'm in, I fought like hell to get here. Like I fought like hell. To have a regular day is a celebration for me as a survivor. With all the shit I done did survived. Like to actually have a regular day that is boring, that is anticlimactic, dare I say predictable, where the biggest unknown is will I, won't I do this thing on my to-do list? The biggest unknown is will I, won't I watch that one extra episode or maybe three? Like that is such a win for me. It is a victory. That is a celebration. There was a time in my life I couldn't even imagine where literally when I was in the abuse, there was a time and for a long period of time where I didn't know I would go to sleep not knowing what the next day would bring genuinely. And not out of like a sense of endless possibility, but out of a sense of like, I didn't have control over my life. I literally remember having a planner, having a passion planner, and planning using the stickers and the colors to like plan out my week. And then, violent incidents would happen, blow-ups would happen, and it would just totally hijack my week. It totally hijacked my plans for myself. They would disappear before my eyes. And it made me feel so powerless. Like I couldn't even control my time. I couldn't even control my schedule. I couldn't even do what I set out to do for myself. It just felt like, I don't know, there's something that felt so like invasive and defeating about that. And so now I'm in a place in my life where I could actually plan my day and I can plan my week and it can happen the way that I want it to happen. And, and if I have disruptions, they're like they're like life living disruptions. They're not another human, is swallowing or taking my time or energy. It's like, it's such a juicy victory for me to, own my time again and do what I want. And that makes having a regular day a celebration for me. And so and it also makes my current flow, like when I ground myself and like I fought for this, like I fought for this boringness. I fought for this predictability. I fought for this to not be like I fought to not have to do all the things. When I ground myself in that, it makes it a little bit easier to just opt out of certain things and say, "Nah, I'm good. This is for me." And to allow myself to experience it as a gift and not as like a loss of something, because I also think that culturally there's a, well, if you're not participating in this, it's like, oh, boo-hoo, that person, they're missing out. And boo, I am not missing out. I am thrilled. I have deep satisfaction at the depths of my soul to be missing out. It is like JOMO to the nth degree. Okay. And that's what honoring my reality looks like during the holidays when all the expectations and the shoulds and the celebration and the ritual just don't align with where I'm at. Instead of trying to force myself to be in a different place or to ignore where I'm at, I acknowledge and name and honor where I'm at and I act from that place. And, depending on the relationship with the person, um, depending on depending on the relationship with the person who might have that expectation of me to participate, I will or won't explain my choice. Well, I will or won't name my choice, and I will or won't explain it. Those are different levels because, I make the choice within myself, and that is a victory and that is a win. And I'm going to scream from my internal mountaintops because I get to do this. And I remember a time where I could not. And so I let that be enough for me. And I just say that out loud because sometimes the weight of communicating that to people is like, ugh, like another pressure and like another reason why sometimes it's just easier to comply. But just grounding in what this boring, regular day means within the context of my journey gives me the resolve to, protect what I need my time to look like. Because yeah, the holidays, I'm like, that's great for you all, but life has been lifing for me, and I have been on this journey, and this is the journey of the calendar of my life, and the universe does not happen to align with the Gregorian calendar, and that's okay. So yeah, that's just what I do because how else? There's for me, there's no other choice because I'm not going to turn my back on the victory and honestly the victory and the celebration of my regular days. Um, so we've just talked about how to honor your internal safety, but as survivors, we know that the true healing requires an ecosystem of safety. That is why this series isn't just me talking to the camera, even though we could do this all day. It's a community effort. For economic safety, we are partnering with Gifted by FreeFrom, a survivor-owned business building survivor wealth. Mm. They are sponsoring our giveaway. for crisis and community safety, especially for my LGBTQ plus poly and kink people. We are uplifting the network LORED. They provide life-saving hotline and advocacy work that helps keep us physically safe. I linked their donation page below, and if this content has served you, I invite you to support them as they have also supported me. Now, let's put this all into practice. Identify one holiday should and consciously decide to let it go. Replace it with one thing you actually want or need. And maybe pause and soothe yourself through that acknowledgement and that choice. Because sometimes even the acknowledgement and the choice can feel stressful as well. Remember, your action is to release one should, just one. Let me know you're in it with me by leaving your safe share in the comments. Just a reminder, to be entered to win, you need to leave a safe share on all 4 videos in this challenge by December 31st. Think of it like collecting 4 badges. Once you've commented on all 4, you've officially entered. Your safe share can be a full thought, a word like celebration, a single emoji that represents how you're feeling, like a little trumpet or a little seedling or a butterfly. Every comment is valid and a powerful way to say, I'm here, I'm doing this work, and I see you. We've honored our rhythm, our retreat, and our reality. For our final challenge, we're talking about the most rebellious act of all, honoring our desire. Subscribe for the finale.